Hello everyone. My topic for the video challenge today is preconceptions or misconceptions, and I'd just like to find out what forms a preconception. As the word means, it's something that you conceive in your head before you actually find out all the facts. A preconception or a misconception is something that you have in your head but it's not right. Whatever you're thinking isn't right. That's a misconception. And I always think about the time when I was little and I carried a preconception, I guess you might call it, and it is around when I was little. My father was Indian and my mother was not an Indian, and that was a wonderful combination because I was able to, my mother was a very good cook and she was able to cook dishes from different parts of the world, different cultures, and I enjoyed the food that she cooked, and each day she would come up with something different. And if it was Indian food, for example, then we would have the food. If it was rice, we'd have the food using our fingers, and we enjoyed that. If it was Chinese food, for example, everything would be served in Chinese style, and we would have chopsticks to eat with. And there were 5 of us, 5 children in the family, so we all learned how to eat with chopsticks very naturally. And then, of course, when she had Western food, for example, it was a case of having the knife and the fork and enjoying the food that way, Western style. And I thought, everyone in the world probably does the same thing. And it was a real shock, an awakening for me when I discovered as I grew up that there were people in the world who really didn't have any idea how to use a pair of chopsticks. And other people had no idea how to eat with their fingers. I was shocked. And then, of course, there are people in the world who really don't know how to use a knife and a fork. They're very awkward with it because they're not brought up using it. So all these misconceptions, I presumed everyone was able to, do all those things, eat with chopsticks, or depending on what the food was, change and use your fingers, but it was not the case. Now, why am I bringing up the misconception idea? It is because I think we are all aware that sometimes we do have misconceptions, but the important thing is what we do with the misconception. Do we continue once we find out, or do we find out the facts and decide we're going to change and have a new conception? What do we do with it? Some people can change easily. Others have to be brought, screaming and jumping around to change the way they think. And I think we have to make that conscious effort to understand things better. And if we do have misconceptions, we need to work on ourselves and change those misconceptions so that they are not misconceptions anymore. You get the facts, you do things right because you know you were thinking in a different way before. So, have you ever had a misconception? I'd like to know. Thank you for listening.